So hello everyone, we're back now for game two in our best of three series with Team Reverse versus Young Bronze. So as of right now, I'm gonna update the overlay for you guys, but Young Bronze was able to get a win over them in game one. So we're gonna see what happens now in game two. And it seems that we're going to be having the same bans from last game too on either side. And the sides got reversed, so now you have Young Bronze on blue side, and you have Reverse on red side right here.
All right, so we see U.S. economy teasing that Blitzcrank. He might just pick it up again for chart 333. He did a wonderful job last game on it, making sure that his team just came right from back from all of G Spot's early game pressure on bot lane. After last game, I would love to see Team Reverse play a more team fight oriented team comp.
That is actually a Lysandra ban. Actually, no, it actually has one different ban this game, Lysandra being banned. So we're gonna see what happens now, especially with the Blitzcrank first pick. I'm actually surprised that Fiora wasn't even banned that game because it was quite the split push threat against the Renekton. So right here we have Mundo and Malphite being hovered right here as well. So it's a very good pickup for the side of Reverse because Mundo is a very strong champion right now. Very, very pick slash ban potential right there. And they taking away the Malphite that was used against them in the last game, which is also very smart because as you can see, they were struggling against the unstoppable force. So the fact that they're able to have it on their team this game might mean this could turn the tides in their favor. But depending on what happens this game, because if they win this game with the Malphite pick, we could see Malphite being banned out by red side next game. I'm actually so surprised that they did go for the first pick Blitzcrank because still a lot of strong champions open. We have Fiora, we have Gangplank, we have Kindred, Rek'Sai, Elise, all these strong champions still up and open.
But I gotta say, if it ain't broke, why fix it? That Blitzcrank did a wonderful job last game. I'm not sure I'm happy to see that Mundo pick though.
Well, I do agree with you on that though. I don't see it having to be first pick priority though, because that seems like something that you can just last pick even.
Yeah.
Seems we have Caitlyn, Lulu. We hover here right now. Lulu is actually a very strong champion in this meta still too. We saw it get picked up in the first best of three between the other two teams that have played. So we're gonna see how it works in this game. We have Alistar being hovered as we have a very strong lineup of tanky champions right now with Mundo, Malphite, and Alistar. Now we just have to round it up with some damage sources in both the mid and AD carry roles. So Sivir got locked in, but I'm a little iffy on this pick. Well, I like it because of her utility with her ultimate with these three champions. I don't like it because I feel like they're going to be lacking in the damage that they need. But at this point in time, they're going to be fighting against the Trundle and then the resistances that Lulu provides onto her team comp. I still felt would have been better to have gotten something with a bit more damage in AD carry roll. So now they had to.
Nicer to see something like a Misfortune in Dalu.
Right, or maybe even Jinx, even.
Yeah.
But right now they need. So this could be what they need for the mid lane right now: a high damage source, and Brand fulfills that role. Because right now they need a mage with a lot of damage right now in the mid lane, and he fills that role very perfectly for this comp. And since they have Sivir, she also provides mobility that Brand needs too. But that's also very good.
I'm a little interested in how the early game is going to go for these two teams, because looking at both sides, I feel I'm not really sure which side has the stronger jungle pressure. I feel as though the Trundle pick it would be great for keeping the Malphite and the and the Mundo off their targets.
That's true because he does have that utility with his ultimate where he can reduce the tank stats or whatever tank he decides to target. And it was, I believe, it was a very good pickup into this composition that reverse drafted with Mundo, Malphite, and Alistar is going to be very helpful in terms of cutting down because since you have Caitlyn and Fiora as your basically your damage stress of your comp, Caitlyn has that weak mid game which gets ascended by Fiora's strong mid game. So we're gonna see how this fight plays out.
You know, just looking at these two compositions, I actually would favor Young Bronze more than Team Reverse, especially in the bot lane ganks. If you have U.S. Economy on the Trundle come down from the side, similar to how G Spot was ganking as Elise last game, he would be able to very easily use his pillar to block off the escape of the Sivir, which would follow up with the Blitzcrank being able to just run up to the Sivir instead of trying to pull. So you can avoid being blocked by the spell shields and then just knock her up with a quick punch. And then as she maybe flashes away, probably wasting the spell shields, pull her back in. Or even Blue Zerk on Caitlyn can pop the spell shield from afar using either the E or the Q.
But yeah, that's very dry, and it's gonna be very interesting to see how these team fights play out because this time around, Reverse has, I believe they have the stronger 5v5 team fight just because of how strong Sivir's ulti will be because we have Sivir ults be boosting them up with Alistar being able to land a pick on someone because if you're able to land a pick on someone and just knock them straight into your team, that target is gonna get destroyed by Brand's damage.
Yep. I think for team fights, Team Young Bronze is definitely going to be looking more towards kiting away with the Lulu and Caitlyn's distant range, while allowing Kagoi to continue split pushing like he did last time with Fiora. If they can keep picking up Rift Heralds for the Fiora, it'll create a great split push power, making it hard for Team Reverse to really get the team fight that they want.
I agree with you on that, but when it comes to the split pushing, though, if I remember correctly, Malphite actually has a favorable matchup into Fiora, actually being able to just stand there and lane because he's just a really big rock with just a lot of defenses, and it's like we're gonna have this Fiora trying to kill 300 armor Malphite because when you look at their team composition, their damage is just coming from physical damage. Malphite doesn't have to care about Lulu's damage throughout the game. You could just stack up armor. And while Trundle can lower Malphite's resistances, still at the end of the day, before those team fights start happening, if we're talking just straight up 1v1 between Fiora and Malphite, Malphite could probably just stand here as Fiora tries to all attack him and probably won't feel anything.
If Fiora's passive, the battle points do true damage. So
it is a bit of true damage, but I don't think it's enough to actually just straight up take Malphite out of lane.
Yeah, but a good gank from Trundle, shred his resistances.
True, it could tip the matchup into her favor off of that if Malphite can't get her.
Yeah.
If Malphite can't get his tank sets.
Yeah, and simple fact is Fiora is actually a good tank killer, and if Lulu roams the map, that creates a lot of pressure on the side lanes, getting a lot of good ganks off.
So yeah, we're in low screen right here. It's gonna be interesting to see if there's a particular level one strat that these teams have in mind for this game because we haven't seen any different level ones just yet. I will say though that if Young Bronze actually does get a win this game, it could call into question whether or not in the future teams will decide to ban Fiora against this team because, as you saw, that split push check from the Fiora is very, very real.
Mm-hmm. And the solo killing potential.
Right, with the Grand Challenge, it's not many champions that can fight against something like that.
All right. So on the blue side, we have as the jungler the U.S. economy on Trundle. In top lane, we have Kagoi on Fiora. Support Char 333, 80 carry Blue Dark on Blitz and Caitlyn respectively, and in the mid lane, Flywalker on Lulu. On red side, we have top lane Polish King Fick playing Malphite, the real G spot as Mundo in the jungle, Cover Guy and Luzlik in the bot lane as Sivir and Alistar, and Xbox on Brand in mid. Let's see how this goes.
Welcome to Summoner's Rift.
And it looks like the two teams are about to face check each other in the river.
30 seconds.
Not much more than just a war kill. GG.
Minions have spawned.
So we're seeing regular starts on from both teams on the bot side with their AD carries. Are you expecting any early game ganks coming out from either of these teams?
So there is a potential from Mundo just with the damage, but his ganks aren't really all that special. The reason why you just picked this champion is just for his very good scaling into the game, along with his damage output as well. Trundle has the ability to do the pre-6 ganks though with the pillar. That pillar is actually very obnoxious when it comes to how much of a slow it provides.
Yeah, I think I'll just and Char misses his first hook, followed by a miss pulverized by Luzlik. Actually, I would like to see Mundo gank. I mean, with a good cleaver or two, that is almost a permanent slow. It's hard to dodge the second cleaver after getting hit by the first one, and we're seeing Kagoi constantly harassing Polish King Fick on that Malphite.
Right, but it'll have to be dependent upon how overextended the enemy is, along with the
and we
red
might
buff
just
as
see
well.
an early level 1 kill. Level 2, excuse me. And we're seeing U.S. economy sneaking into
Oh,
real
this could be a
GX5
potential
jungle.
solo kill. Does he have
boy.
He does have the flash, but it seems that US economy flashed forward, and that is first blood over onto him off of the counter jungle attempt.
That is a real good start for U.S. economy. Now, if you can leave some wards, counter jungle a bit, and keep up the pressure inside the jungle, we won't be able to see the Mundo get to his late game potential.
Right, it seems that it's gonna go make a move for the Scuttle Crab, or maybe just his own blue buff after that counter jungle attempt as well.
See, I would have really liked to see U.S. economy drop a ward inside of Mundo's jungle. Maybe wait for him and have to go follow up. Seeing as Mundo doesn't have his flash up at the point at this moment, and he did come from bot side to top side, so his jungle on the bottom side would be empty. They could have easily just waited for him, warded up in one of the entrances, and caught him at one of his camps with a nice rotation from Lulu or Fiora. Ooh, and we got a hook onto Luzlik on Alistar that's going very bad as he knocks Blue Dirk closer to the other side. That's a lot of damage.
Ooh, the Repose gets the additional slow off, but it's just lava ras coming out from the Fiora into the Malphite, and have the bot lane winning at the moment with the Sivir having the health lead over the Caitlyn. If Blitzcrank even tries to look for a hook, like if he tries to hook Sivir, she has a spell shield, so it's just gonna get negated. And then if he tries to like Alistar, that's the worst case scenario because then you basically just hook an Alistar into your AD carry, and that's just either a free WQ combo or it could just be a Q, headbutt Caitlyn back, and then potentially get a kill onto the Caitlyn. And we have Mundo looking to do this gank rally here, but I don't think his bot lane knew that was gonna happen because if they knew that was gonna happen, they could have tried to follow with a flash Q from Alistar.
Yep. Right now, it's starting to look like that Blitzcrank was a bad choice. Seeing as they already tried pulling in the Alistar once, and it turned bad for them, having the causing Blue Jerk on that Caitlyn to lose a good majority of his health. And once again, Mundo is trying to get this gank or just this pink board.
Gets knocked up, and that's all it's gonna be. But yeah, as I mentioned before, this was the first pick Blitzcrank, so it's easier to notice, but it seems that someone might be able to get caught out right here. Let's see who it might be. The Blitzcrank is holding onto the grab, but doesn't want to quite use it. Not any desirable targets for him to want to grab to him.
Now, it's important to notice that Malphite has already used his teleport, so once he hits level 6, there's no actual... Oh, and it looks like they got the hook.
Oh, we got the spell shield on the knockup, though.
I don't even think they popped the spell shield. They just simply...
No, the spell shield got popped by the Blitzcrank E.
Did it?
Yeah. Oh, but the pillar gets the additional slow, but the Blitzcrank is just waiting on the hook cooldown and misses a Sivir. But Alistar goes for the flash Q, but can't go get the knockback under his tower and knocks him into the wall right next to him, and it's the wasted flash. Could have been a decent turnaround play.
Very unfortunate. Very slow game right now. But as I was saying before, it's important to notice that Malphite's teleport is currently down, so he has no way of actually friending his level 6 power spike at the moment.
Oh, Toronto gets the slow again, but Blitzcrank just used his pulse, so this wasn't the best of times to get the gank off if they wanted to kill.
Oh, but they blow the flash to blow the heal.
Alright, it's still pretty worth on their part, but could have been a lot better coordinated in terms of just waiting on the hook.
And we see
CD.
Flywalker getting ganked by the real G-Spot. One axe hits, a stun.
Oh, the stun, and then the ignite, securing the kill for Bao.
Like I said, one axe into another.
You know, one thing to know is that Flywalker had access to both Flash and Wild Growth, so he could have either Flash out of the brand stun, or he could have Wild Growth and Flash as well if he still felt he probably was going to die. But the Flash was still there.
And it looks like Agoy is just harassing down Polish Fig, showing him that he needs to show some respect. That farm is not his.
You know, we have the 30 CS difference in the top lane, and the CS difference is starting to happen in the middle lane as the Lulu opting to go for the Abyssal Scepter first item, actually. And the brand goes back for his Haunted. Guys, how do you feel about Brand's itemization? Because I've seen brands either go for the Leandry's rush or they go for a Rally's rush. I've seen some what they do is that they go for an early Haunted guys and then they start building Rally's. How do you feel about his itemization?
I actually like seeing the Rally's rush first, especially with Mundo and Malphite on your team. One spell, you slow your target. It allows your team to just rush them, especially with Sivir. You know, Sivir ultimate following up after any type of slow, especially the ultimate and the W, getting a great amount of AoE slows. Just rush down your target and you kill them.
You know, now that you mentioned the fact that Rally's has that slow potential, there's also the fact that because some of Brand's abilities are skill shots, so after you get the slow down off of one ability, it makes it easier for you to follow up the rest of your abilities as a result. Ooh. And this could be a potential solo kill attempt, but the Wild Growth comes out, stops a lot of the burst damage from coming through.
Just a nice trade of ultimates right there. I think right now the best idea for U.S. Economy's team. Oh, I'm seeing a little fight between U.S. Economy and the real G Spot.
Right, and remember, Trundle is that tank killer himself. Mundo can't actually 1v1 him just
But he
because of the
can,
nature of his ultimate, and there's a pause coming out.
Yeah. Well, like I was saying before, we got rudely interrupted by that little fight. I would like to see U.S. Economy put a little bit more pressure down bot lane, not particularly for a gank or to get a kill, but just simply clear the wards, have the Caitlyn do her job in pushing into that tower, and get the dragon. Because there's not a lot of places for him to gank. He's not exactly the best early game ganker, especially not against the team that he's going against. Not unless he has the Lulu accompanying him somewhere else on the map that's not mid. So if he could just focus on collecting those dragons on spawn, they'll be able to rack up a good amount of extra power. So when they get into the mid game, their power spikes are even stronger.
But yeah, the issue here was lag, so we're gonna see if that gets resolved soon. Now, they do have 10 minutes of pause time, so
And they almost went through it all last game.
so this game is actually like pretty even right now. Like, granted, there is the CS discrepancy in the top lane. You're talking 60 CS,
Mm-hmm.
and then it's starting to happen in the middle lane. And AD carries are pretty even right now.
I would even like to see the Trundle come top lane, maybe force out the Malphite, pick up the Rift Heralds. They could have a great amount of focus onto these two objectives. They'll be able to take towers without even having to fight. And if they could take the towers before the actual team fights happen, when the team fights do happen, all the power that's coming from Team Reverse's side will get negated by how strong their champions are with all the gold income that they're coming in with the towers and just overall pressure.
But yeah, speaking of Dr. Mundo, though, how do you feel about this champion? Because I've fought against him in some of my solo queue games, and it's been quite obnoxious to fight against.
Obnoxious is actually the right word. After that recent, the change during preseason to his E, where he gets an auto attack reset plus he gets extra damage based upon his health, as well as how missing health and extra base damage. It's just terrifying. I believe at rank 5 he gets 100 extra AD, and his first auto attack does a percentage of his health. And then and then it's like, I think like plus 180 per missing percent of health. It's so much. And then following up with the Qs with his cleavers, chunking you away, slowing you. You can't get away, you can't hurt him, and he's doing way too much damage. He's just a terrifying champion right now.
But yeah, speaking of terrifying champions, I'm actually surprised I haven't seen any Kindred. Because it has been banned, and I still think it's a pretty strong, good champion to pick, especially in the jungle role. I see they get flex in 80 carry sometimes, but I think 80 carry Kindred is okay. It's not the greatest. It's just like, it's okay. I call it viable.
The thing about Kindred is that ultimate, unless you have a lot of synergy between your team and a lot of communication when it happens, you can easily screw your own teammates over.
And a Kindred ult.
Yep.
But yeah, we're back into the game here. You know, the pause issue got resolved, so even as before, except, you know, the same advantages are still there. But collectively wise is even.
Again, if all Trundle really needs to do is put the pressure on the real G-Spot, like he did in the beginning of the game, constantly invade, put down the vision, and focus on his two side lanes. Have the Lulu come with you, and then you have so much slow that you just get to walk over Team Reverse in the same way that they kind of want to walk over the Young Bronze with their heavy engaged comp. But the problem with the heavy engaged comp is if you don't have the items, when you do engage, you don't do anything.
need items on champions that are very item dependent.
Yes. Hello. And we're seeing US Economy fighting the real G-Spot inside his own jungle, but he needs to run before Xbox comes there.
Right, when it comes to just basically Mundo fighting versus Trundle, Trundle steals a tank stats from Mundo, and then he also has the Feel Inside him, gives him that extra move speed, has a Soul of the Pillar. It's very, very difficult for Mundo to be able to even do anything against Trundle.
I'm really liking how much vision the red side is keeping up. It's preventing anything that's really happening. Not that they've been trying, but it's just there's no way to get into their jungle. There's no way to even pressure those objectives. It's just too much vision. And looks like we're getting a bunch of damage down on bot lane, trying to push down that tower before before Blue Dirk can return. I feel as though we're just going to be laning until someone goes for the dragon. Cover guys overextended. Oh boy.
Oh, the headbutt actually interrupts the ace in the hold channel, so Sivir gets to live.
Yeah.
But the Sivir actually used her heal, so I don't think she even knew that Alistar was going to do that for her.
This would be a great time for Trundle to come bot lane, help push out cover guy from the lane, push down, take out that tower, and pick up the dragon. At the same rate, if G-Spot... Oh! Nothing's going to come up with this. Interesting engage by US Economy. I'm not exactly sure it is a wise idea.
It's the bot lane is roaming up. That's why if you see the map in the... Two flashes!
Please go do that, dragon.
No one wanted to get hit by that. One hook for 2 flashes is very worth. There's also 2 flashes for 1 flash too.
Yep.
Yeah, because Bliss wanted a flash pull, and they both flash in response to the flash.
This slow pace is driving me insane.
I'm actually surprised this. It's been so long since a kill has actually happened. I can't wait to see what will happen when the first team fight goes out. Oh, but the Unstoppable Force comes up on the Fiora as Mundo. The flash gets pulled by Fiora as well, and the cleaver lands as well. Will another cleaver be able to hit as well? He's very low. He's drinking the potion. Will he be able to live? Another cleaver comes out for the slow, and is another slow, and then the G-Spot takes the kill against Kagoi.
That is not what you want to have happen when you're pushing your lane. But meanwhile, blue team responds by taking a quick dragon. Now, if they can rush down bot lane, they can take a tower as well.
Right, and the brand just got Leandri's Torments. That's a lot of damage, as Mundo and Malphite are going to casually take Rift Herald to give Malphite a chance back in this lane. You see, the Rift Herald actually does a lot of damage, but if I was the Mundo, I'll let Malphite take a little bit of it. You know, there.
There we go.
Yeah, okay, yeah, Malphite got it. That was good. So just word for the wise, when you're fighting Rift Herald, if where the eye opens up, if you attack it from that side, you do more damage to Rift Herald. So it's very good to micro as you're trying to kill Herald.
And ultimately, I feel as though getting the Rift Herald is a better trade than taking the dragon at this point, because it's going to allow Malphite to put a lot of pressure back on.
Actually, the dragon isn't even up though; it already got taken.
They got taken.
Yeah.
While Fiora was getting killed by Mundo, the blue team responded by taking the dragon. But I feel as though this is really good because it helps negate Kagoi from aggressing onto Polish King while he
because he has stronger minions now. Like, look, get him, minions, look at him, just look at him. They're trying. You know, they have no resistances, but they're trying.
Now all we need is for for the Malphite to be a little wiser about his positioning in response to his battle points, because he's allowing Kagoi to hit them a little too frequently, and because of that, he's so low that he is potentially gonna dive. I'm not sure. I like
Nah,
this
I
idea.
don't think he can get dive just
I'm
because
not
he's
sure I like
still
this
he's
idea.
still
They're looking
very
like they're
tanky.
trying.
And
They
there's also
can
the
Fred in the
attack speed
dive.
slow too.
They can Fred in the dive by pushing the minions in.
Oh, right.
and
Trundle
to
is
save
here.
the tower.
Okay, yeah. We're steal the tank stats with his ultimate. Yep, there it is right there.
I don't
But
think that was the greatest idea. If they had just gone for the tower, oh.
then the AoE heal. Oh, see,
Ooh,
there's a heal right
actually.
there, and then now this is a free tower for them.
Red team's turret has been destroyed.
He really needs to pay more attention. Oh gosh. And
Sivir
real
on the
Grease
hunt,
Spot is
getting
coming,
pulled.
flanking behind with the.
Oh, with
Sivir
a
ultimate.
blast
Oh,
two-man
boy.
pole. And the headbutt back.
And now the persistent slow coming from the Mundo. That's a double kill going down bot lane to Mundo.
With this double kill, they can either look to siege for the bot tier 2 because that's 2 people dead, or they can go try to get mid tower. So it seems that they're gonna try to do something mid tower. They might actually do potential dive mid tower actually, because Alistar does have the
His ultimate.
yeah, his ultimate. I forgot the name of it.
Meanwhile, top lane, Fiora and Trundle get a free tower. A good dive right here. Nope. They should already stop it, walk away.
Oh, the teleport coming in, and Fiora trying to do her best to try something with the pillar coming out for the slow. Fiora doesn't quite have access to the grand challenges, and she's just gonna get kited and falls to Brand's ultimate as Brand just barely lives with a silver to help as Lulu trying to help the US economy live. Does Lulu have anything? Nope, not for him. And double buffs going over to Brand as Reverse is gonna look to potentially siege mid lane now. And this is very interesting because despite the massive CS difference in the top lane in the Fiora versus Malphite matchup, you see that the score is in the favor of Team Reverse, because as I mentioned from before, Malphite versus Fiora, Malphite is able to, even though he's going to get bullied and smashed around a little bit, he can actually still stay in that lane, and once he gets his tank items, it's going to come to a point where he just doesn't care if Fiora's hits him anymore. But yeah, and even though it's a lead for Reverse, it's still quite a small lead actually. It's only a 0.2k difference between the two teams at the moment. Oh, there it is. The name of Alistar's ultimate is Unbreakable Will. There we go.
But that was definitely a good fight for Team Reverse. With the
And
double
one thing to
buff on
notice too. Oh, sorry.
Oh, it's okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say one thing to notice too is that it's not even a 5v5 team fight just yet. Just imagine what happens when you have both Sivir on the hunt and Unstoppable Force, and along with Alistar's Unbreakable Will added into the fray as there, and then you have Brand's damage as well. This is a 3-0 Brand. Look at that ultimate damage as it bounces back and forth between them, and he gets the kill secure onto the Blitzcrank on the 4th bounce. Look at that. That's 3-0 Brand. This is the high damage mage that they needed to help this team comp in terms of damage output.
See, right now, if the Sivir was with them, it would have been able to push down that tower a
Right,
little
you
bit
could push
faster
down
and get the
mid,
second
or maybe
tower.
even force a potential die, because you can have Alistar soak up the damage from the tower with Unbreakable Will. So he still has it right now.
Well, Dragon's up in 45 seconds. If they can get, they already have it. If they can continue.
Oh,
controlling-
Sivir doesn't quite know that Fiora is actually down here. Should potentially walk away, but Mundo is coming too as Fiora flashes forward with the ace in the hole. Gets stopped by the spell shot as Fiora wants this kill really badly. Has so many speedballs catch up, but this could mean the end of her as Alistar knocks her back, and she's just in a 3v1 right now as she's just falls to actually the Mundo. I was expecting her to fall to Brand DLT.
Mundo just does too much.
So even though the Fiora was able to get the kill on the Sivir, it wasn't all that worth in the grand scheme of things.
Quite honestly, I feel as though that was a misplay by the Sivir. If the Sivir had hung closer to the wall, instead of flashing closer to the tower, which she did and still
Oh, right, just flash over the wall, and then Fiora couldn't catch it because she already burned her flash in
and she would have
response.
been closer to her team.
Yeah, and then if Fiora kept chasing, she would have just gotten CC chained by Alistar, right?
Yep. I mean, ultimately the Alistar was already flanking her, so there was no way out for the Fiora.
Yeah.
Now they get a free dragon for red team because there's just no response. There's no way to respond. Fiora's down, and any attempt to try a fight that would be negated by Xbot's incredible damage.
So judging from the way this game is going, now remember that how strong I mentioned about the mono pick. It is 4-1 now. So how do you feel picks and bans are going to be in the next game if this turns out being a win for Team Reverse? Because the Malphite got changed over from one team to the next team, and it seems like the team that has Malphite is the one that's currently winning in both games.
I wouldn't put the win towards Malphite. Unlike last game where US Economy was doing a lot of work on Malphite, Polish King has relatively just been a punching bag for the Fiora all game long.
Right, but he didn't die, so even though he is behind in terms of like gold, he still carries the whole utility of being able to have that strong team fight initiation.
But we
with his ultimate, because that's the thing about Malphite, right? Is that he's not the greatest of solo laners, but he's one of those strong team fighters in the game.
Yeah, and for that case in scenario, I would have wanted to see him maybe roam towards mid lane and use his ultimate, to help his team as he is utility. But
yeah, but we have the skirmish right here with the 3v2 with the Brand ultimate going for the bounce. So, like I said, in their next game's picks and bans, we might even see a potential Brand ban. Maybe even being picked up if Flywalker plays that champion.
I think definitely. I don't see seeing as Reverse will be on the blue side. I don't see them picking up the Malphite, but potentially banning it away so it doesn't go into US Economy's hands.
So this is a Brand with Leandri's Rallies too, so that's a lot of damage and slows on top of that too from this Brand. And the Sivir, like I just mentioned before, the Sivir has yet to actually group up with her team, so imagine what happens when she actually groups up.
If Sivir was grouped up right now, they would be definitely being able to pressure the mid lane inner turret.
Oh yeah, by all means, Alistar has access to the flash, so you could go for a flash Q right after. But then again, all of them have flash, but even again, it's even harder to react to Alistar flash Q unless you just already flash the second you see him running up to you, and you're just like, okay, I'm not gonna risk it.
And the fact that Xbox already does have his Rallies, there's a incredibly strong Mundo in the game. The Malphite knock up and slow, it's hard to get away from Team Reverse, especially if Sivir would just group.
Okay, so someone in the chat is mentioning the Cutlass on the Trundle, so I feel that the Cutlass on the Trundle is okay, just if he wants that one damage item to make himself a significant backline threat, or just be able to just tank kill in general, because Trundle is really good at tank killing because of his ultimate, and if you get Bork, he scales very well with attack speed. It's a very good item on him.
Getting pincered out by Alistar and Mundo.
Well, speaking of League of Tanks right here, we have the 2v1 fight happening right here between Malphite and them, and then there's the fight on the Fiora as well, and the CC lock as the on the hunt gets used, and Fiora goes down. So here's one thing I want to mention about Fiora's play right now. So this was something that we saw in the last game where the Fiora would always go for this split push strat, where before in the last game it was fine, but I think Flywalker isn't fine, and House of Wild Growth, and that barely keeps him alive as the United States flash away, but Alistar knocks him back into the Brand, and that's another kill over for both. But yeah, as I was mentioning from before, so with the Fiora's playstyle, she's going for these split pushing, right? And it was good last game just because your team was ahead. You can do that 4-1 split push, but I think Sivir is in danger, but she was able to get the tower, so if she goes down, especially not going to go down with the face in the mountain, being used onto her, and there's going to be another slow onto Blitzcrank who flashes away. Yeah, I keep getting interrupted by all the fights that are happening, but I want to keep saying that when you split push like this as Fiora, it's fine if your team is ahead, but if your team is behind, you can't look to split push, because if you're split pushing, you have no vision. If you have no vision, you don't know when they're just going to send at least 2 people, because that's what it is, right? You can't have one person to fight Fiora, you need to send at least 2 people, and then they send the tankiest people and the people with the strongest CC too, so she can't even look to even get one person out of it. She's just going to get killed by the CC lock alone. So I feel that for Fiora, it would be better for her to just split only when you have the vision around you to make sure you know that you're not just basically baiting yourself into 3 people, and then just reserve your teleport for when you want a team fight with your team. If your team does want to look for a team fight, but at this time, you don't even want a team fight just because of how strong this brand is, and along with the team fight from the enemy team.
And we're seeing Char get caught out by Xbot's stun, and the ultimate fizzles only on one target, but the real G-Spot goes in with his ultimate going off. Oh, and the ult in the back line. Fiora gets picked off on the side by Alistar and Xbox. Down goes Trundle. Flywalker's next to go. This is going to be a free tower in mid, potentially a Baron.
But yeah, I was gonna mention that with the teleport usage, I think the best thing for Young Bronze to do right now is to use their teleport to try to potentially get a fight without Sivir there, because we saw Sivir was like split pushing a lot in some of the solo lanes in terms of the earlier stages of the game. But I believe it's kind of too late for them to do that now. At this point is what's something that they should have did earlier, back when Sivir was doing that, so that you can out rotate them with the double teleport pressure from both Lulu and Fiora. Keep in mind, home guard happens for everyone at 20 minutes now, so you could have potentially made for a TP home guard player, but this is going to be a Baron going to team reverse. This potentially looks like they can go to end the game, maybe even with this Baron push.
I definitely believe that they can. I feel as though Team Young Bronze lost their opportunity to win this game. When the Trundle didn't pressure the side lanes and the Lulu didn't follow him around to constantly get good. And the steal by real defense, that's a scumbag move over the wall. If they had just threatened to take the dragons and the Rift Heralds while they still had the pressure in lane phase, they would have been able to exit lane phase with more strength than they have right now. They would have been able to contest these towers and contest these objectives and actually have a strong team fight phase.
Right. Also, let me know, everyone, that as you can clearly see, Malphite is a good counter pick into the Fiora, because it is very difficult for her to deal with Malphite in terms of when he gets his tank items. Obviously, in solo lane, there's going to be a time where she overpowers him slightly, but just the attack speed reduction as well as the armor stacking, as I mentioned from before, Lulu deals not enough damage, so Malphite can just stack armor with ease. Like, look at this, we're talking a Frozen Heart, Thornmail, Sunfire, Malphite.
I still say that the Malphite got carried by the team.
Well, he was losing in the...
The Mundo came and killed the Fiora in lane.
Right, but that happened once though. But what I'm basically saying though is that just like the matchup, it's like you're gonna be losing, but you're not losing to the point where you can't stay in the same lane as a Fiora, is what I mean. Oh, the grab does land onto the Brand, who flashes out, and it is gonna be a dive onto them, and with Alistar is actually tanking with the Unbreakable Will as Fiora gets blown up by the enemy team. The ground challenge not even proc, as another unstoppable force lands onto the Caitlyn, as the rest of Young Bronze is forced to run away. And this could be the potential end of this game with 40-second death timers.
That was definitely a reverse.
And these are flashes coming out because that was a surrender vote, and this is a win for Team Reverse right here.
Congratulations to Team Reverse. See, that was what I was talking about. The fact that they didn't abuse their stronger laning phase to get themselves enough lead to go into the mid game. It just left them open. It left them completely open to get run over by this Sivir comp. You have Mundo, you have Alistar and Malphite. You combine that with one Sivir ultimate, they rush straight down to you. You can't get away. There's too many slows. There's too many knockups. And with Brand's damage, everyone just goes down. Congratulations to Team Reverse for reversing and getting what making it a tie, 1-1, with a tiebreaker coming up right next.
I should hurt you for making that pun.
But you won't.
But yeah, we're just gonna wait a bit right here as we look to start up game 3 of this best of 3 set.